Hey everybody, I hope people are doing really well, as to be expected during this time. And I've got a few questions for you to start the week. So I am hanging out here. I'm hanging out. I'm not living here, but I'm just going for a walk behind the school at our regeneration area. So a few years ago, we decided to stop mowing the grass in about a 50 by 50 meter square area of the field, and we allowed nature to sort of return in what's appearing to be a few stages of succession. So you can see behind me here, we've got some long grass, weeds, small trees, and what's really cool about this area is that as the plants were allowed to regrow, they started to go to flower, they went to seed, and that brought a lot of insects to the area. Those insects attracted a lot of birds, which fed on the insects, and those birds have even attracted a predator now. There has been a raptor hanging out on the top of that pole there, not a velociraptor, but it's either a kestrel or a red-tailed hawk. I haven't had a really good look at it, but we've put a house there now to try to attract it to nest in the area. And what's interesting is there are a few dead mice at the bottom of that pole that's behind me. So we now have a small ecosystem going on here where before there was just lawn. So over to my other side here, we've got just a typical lawn filled with dandelions. It's been mowed 3 times already. So as those flowers come up to provide food for insects, they are mowed off. And well, of course we have to have a soccer field, but maybe not this year. What is cool about dandelions, and this brings me to my first question, is that they are one of the first foods for honeybees and a lot of pollinator insects as they wake up from the winter. Honeybees are looking for food, and a lot of times dandelions are their first food source. So if you can, leave dandelions in your lawn. Don't worry about what neighbors think about it. Lawns were created sort of as a status symbol to show you had a lot of free time and a lot of money to spend on your lawn through lawnmowers, gasoline, pesticides and herbicides, which maybe is not a good way to spend our time as we're seeing the world's insects population decrease. So here's a question for grade 9 science. I'm teaching grade 9 science, grade 10 science, and grade 11 physics. And here's your question of the day, grade 9 science. It is a really good practice for a scientist to be observant, and even observant of the very normal and sometimes what appear to be boring things that you see every day. Dandelions, which often we try to exterminate from our lawn, are a really interesting plant. So tell me a little bit about the dandelion. Where does it come from? Give its life cycle. What role does it play in the ecosystem? And then lastly, where does it get its name? And you may need to ask your French teacher for that. There's a clue for you. Grade 10 science. You are in the middle of a climate change unit. So here's your question. We are all living on this big ball of rock and dirt that's flying around the sun once a year, and it's constantly changing. One of the things that's changing about Earth is its climate. I want you to describe 3 things that are happening naturally on planet Earth that are causing its climate to change. So 3 natural causes of climate change and 3 human causes of climate change. So 3 anthropogenic, that means man-caused or human-caused causes of climate change. So there's your question for Science 10. Physics 11, here's your question. You are starting a unit on sound and waves right now, and there's a lot of sounds going on out here. One of them is the sounds of birds communicating back and forth across this regeneration area. So here's your question. This is a 50 by 50 meter square area of field. How long would it take sound to travel from corner to corner diagonally across this field if the temperature, the air temperature, is 11 degrees? So today it's about 11 degrees. This field is 50 by 50 square. How long would it take sound to travel diagonally across this field if the air temperature is 11 degrees? So sound is one way that energy can travel through a medium, and the medium in this case is air. Sound needs a medium to travel through. It can't travel through a vacuum, just through space. So it can travel through air. It can also travel through steel or water or wood. In fact, it's faster the more dense the medium is, like water or wood, the faster it's going to travel. So there are your 3 questions. Do your question for Monday, for today, it's your question of the day. And if you want to do another class's question, those points can be applied as bonus points for your learning log. So if you have some time, you can do another class's question too. All right, guys, I hope you're doing really well, and I hope I get a chance to see you soon. If not, at least here's my face that you can look at for 6 minutes. And have a great week. Talk to you later.